This is a book review of The Art of Romance, Mills and Boon and Harlequin cover designs. I love books about book covers, and I must admit, I've enjoyed, over the years, many books of Mills and Boon. They're always very enjoyable, obviously in Harlequin as well. Great reads, and I love the covers as well. I think the covers are quite often superb. Sometimes better than the stories, but sometimes the stories are pretty good as well. And there's quite a bit of variety in the thing, though many, of course, follow the same sort of thing. Bloke, and obviously a woman, in two, and that's it. Maybe three stretching, and then you have some where it's just single person on the cover. So there's a variety of things. And also, of course, a variety of different stories, and they're all covered in this, and they cover a load of different bits. There's a little bit of history as well, and this book is about 250 odd pages. This came out in 2008. There was an exhibition. Would have been good to go and see that exhibition. Unfortunately, it was up at the Manchester Central Library, 5th of June 2008. And this is from Prestel. So it's a complete run through of, obviously it doesn't include every single cover. Now that would have been a really good book, but it would have been an impossible book. And obviously Mills and Boon are still going now, producing vast amounts of books. So no one would be able to keep up with that sort of thing. So what you've got here is Then He Kissed Her. Little introduction. Oh, before I do that, I just got to show you that as well. Just one, I mean, that's the sort of thing. Beautiful covers. That's going to be one of the points I'm going to slightly criticise the book. But I'm just going to go through here. You've got the contents here. And it's early years, 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s, 70s and 80s, 90s. A new century begins. And you've got then obviously the introduction. Great to have an introduction. Obviously a bit of history. About Mills. I love that bit with the shop. There you've got a shop picture. Obviously a display unit of Mills and Boon. And then onto the actual first, there's a few little thumbnail ones there, but you've got here Jack London. Obviously these are the earliest ones. I don't know if this was the first or not, but here you've got Jack London there. Now it doesn't particularly look like a standard Mills and Boon in any shape or form. And what it does, on each of these pages, 1912, they don't, so they bit of a jump there. They must have produced something in between, I would have thought. But 1912, 1919, but I guess, of course, the war was in there as well. So that's going to be a First World War, of course. But it has the date, and then it has Jack London, obviously telling you, which, of course, you can tell from there. And also you can tell the name. So when God laughs, so you got that. And you got Mills and Boon. Other than the only information you can't work out from this is the 1912 bit. So why include that information along that sidebar? What would have been more useful? Obviously, if it's known, of course, would have been the artist who drew it, who painted it, those sort of things. That would have been quite useful. But there's no information at all about the actual illustrators. Now, there isn't. Nothing. No, what's the name? So it's just a picture, which, of course, is, obviously, in some of these cases, because these were hardbacks. Now, if you go, obviously, all the way back to let's go back to probably this, again, another slight problem. I don't know if these are hardbacks or if they're paper. Who knows? Absolutely no idea. I assume this one was a paperback. Romance, Almost a Stranger, Margaret Way. You got there. So you've got that lovely, I mean, it's just great. They're really nice quality. There's nothing wrong with the quality. The quality is absolutely, and these obviously are bigger than the standard, the actual book itself, if they were paperback. Hardback, maybe they might be about the same sort of size. I can't say. I haven't got a copy to compare, so I'm not going to put a sort of thing saying it is. But I love those sort of lovely, beautiful blues like that. Just glorious. And this is the thing, you've got lots of these ones where obviously they're walking in obviously the sand, obviously probably could be anywhere. It could be Cornwall, Greece, whatever. I don't know. There's some that you can obviously clearly tell where it is, but there's no information particularly about the artist or any sort of like background detail. Would have been really nice, or a little bit of, if they knew, someone obviously the writer, maybe a little bit of a blurb about, some background about Sarah Seal. I don't know anything about Sarah Seal, but it would have been nice to look, if you're going to have a bit of space on the side there, you've got that there with that text. You might as well put a little bit of a sort of Sarah Seal XYZ, or the artist again would have been quite nice. Just a little bit background for each of these, if that's known, of course. Not every. There's a really great series I'm reading at the moment, Forgotten Authors, And you've got like loads of, and similar obviously with lots of these romance authors. I mean, they some of them produce hundreds of books or 50 or whatever, a lot of books. And you think, what else do they do? What did they, a little bit about them, it would have been nice. And this Kiss Your Elbow, great titles. It's another thing, I love these things. Just brilliant, sort of with Kiss Your Elbow. What a great title. A Harlequin book. Royce of the Royal Mounted. So you got those ones. And you just got Substitute for Love, Henrietta Reed, and Parisian Adventure. So we can guess. Now, sometimes, obviously, now that could be anywhere. I mean, that's called Parisian Adventure. I mean, it's obviously a fountain. Now, unless something you knew that fountain, who knows? You've obviously got some that are obviously slightly historical. You've got some that are obviously the good old ones, airlines, and lots and lots and lots of different stories. And you've got the early ones, these lovely ones in the 1940s. 1930s ones, they're really quite amazingly, they're compared with what came later. I must admit, I still love them. I think there's some just brilliant, and I love the fashions as well. Some are not so great. I mean, you've got Purple Dawson Rancher, but Merry Goes the Time. What a great little cover that is, just beautiful. So you've got lovely stories there. You Are That Someone, Francis Braybrooke. And you've got here a Mills and Boon love story, just a little picture there, just down the bottom. Obviously, they didn't carry that through. Obviously, that's not, very rarely do, when you go through this, looking at it, there's not much where it says Mills and Boon at all. I guess it must have been, obviously, a different position. Sometimes it is. And sometimes you do actually see the artist, and I can't make them out. That's the trouble. That could be Nicole? I don't know. No idea. Not very, it's so tiny, just really can't make it out. But Die With Me Lady, obviously a bit of dope rings in Canada. I have to say, not something I associate with Mills and Boon particularly. You never know with women. Pardon My Body, a tough expose of American underworld. I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know if they're reprinting these. I mean, they look like they should be reprinting some of these books. If they're not reprinting them, or maybe a Kindle version or something, so you can actually see. Because I reckon, because they're probably quite hard to get. I expect they're probably very collectible. But it would be great if you could get sort of a new copy. There's lots of these brilliant books that come out with collections of sort of these old paperbacks and whatever. And I just love them. They're absolutely superb. They're just great stories. They've got such an energy. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes I've got some of it. But sometimes you just read them and you think, wow, they were just great. Die With Me Lady, sorry. Romance Goes Tented. Maybe that will probably not have the same sort of impact as maybe going, but, it's certain, it's great fun. But weirdly, Romance Goes Tented, you've got at the background, you've got a circus or something in the background. So maybe obviously set in the circus. Dr. Scott, there's obviously a lot of these ones with sort of obviously medical ones. Ward to Andrew. Another one here, the last of the, and there's so many great stories. And the 5 Shilling Holiday. Now, I mean, I don't. Many of these are probably like films that turn up on Talking Pictures channel. I love Talking Pictures TV, just the best channel. And all these sort of things. Quite often we're looking at this, I'm thinking, oh, look at that. Just great books. Lucifer's Angel. Just Violet Winspear. Oh, obviously got another one there. I actually love those old. That was what my mum. Whenever my mum had all the Mills and Boon's classics and Mills and Boon, often I remember lots of that cover in the 60s and 70s. They're just absolutely glorious. And then you've got other ones here. Love Is Forever. Welcomed Bride of the Riff. Maiden Flight, and so on and so on. And then, of course, it changed. And, of course, then they went changed, obviously, the more photographic ones, which is nothing wrong. But I must admit, I do love the painted and drawn ones. Actually, to be honest, just a sketch one, sort of inked or something, is just for me because I love comic books. So those sort of things. And obviously, you can see, of course, quite a lot of these were obviously used references. Obviously, so they're painted and they're obviously. And that would have been another thing that would have been really good if they had put pictures of like maybe obviously the models and things, because obviously there would have been model photographs and those sort of things. Maybe that's pushing it, but that's the sort of thing that I would have loved to include. And actually, even nicer at the back, you've even got where it is actually some artwork. You've got here a sort of a manga one. So you've got here a Harlequin manga version, which is very nice. I love all those sort of books. They're just great. And that's it. And some of them, of course, the fonts are pretty hard to read. That one is a Harlequin cover, Never Without You Again. And you look at it, the font's a bit, doesn't matter. That's the thing when you look back at the old ones, that you really can see the font. I love fonts and type. The type is always, I mean, it's a bit boring. You know, it's like, but at least you can read it. Sometimes when you get some of these books and they do a font and it's all flourishes, and obviously some of these, obviously the one with the manga one is completely, obviously in Japanese, with very tiny, this man and this woman, HQ Comics. And you've got this, actually some of them, they really don't even make much emphasis on what the name of the book is. This one, The Mighty Quinn's Marcus, and like the font, just writing is very tiny. You've got this picture, obviously, of this guy's six-pack. This one looks a bit like, I would say, like Angel in the TV series. So you've got lots of some great things. Well, Jacqueline Diamond, Yours, Mine and Ours. We've got this family one there. But like I say, I love it. This absolutely beautiful, wonderful collection of covers, which, yeah, if you can't buy the books, and like I say, probably quite a lot of these are probably very hard to get, collectible. So it's just great to have these sort of collections. Just absolutely. And you can see it's a soft cover. Not paperback particularly, but it's a slightly, I don't know, a soft cover, I guess is the name they would call. And see on the back, see some additional pictures there. Unique collection of book covers offering a fascinating visual record about how our perceptions of romance, love and drama have evolved over the years. A treasure trove of inspiration for designers and artists as well. So advertising, film and fashion, which I think is really, and it says here, Harlequins and obviously Mills and Boon, etc., selling more than 4 books per second. Four books per second. That is staggering. Globally in 26 languages. Wow. Founded in 1908. That is something. So now it's 112 years. Wow. So The Art of Romance, absolutely brilliant. Like I say, I love these sort of books. So I'm biased, I have to say. These sort of books, I've got quite a few of these sort of cover books, and I regret getting rid of some of the cover books over the years I've bought and I think just drifted out of the collection. But I do love cover books, and this is just excellent. Art of Romance, totally recommended.